Wetware Media presents The Sacred Hub, Living in the Shimmering Light of Your True Self. Written by Rabbin and narrated by Toby. Copyright 2017 by Rabbin. This recording is copyright 2017 by Wetware Media. For more information about Wetware Media and to browse our audiobook catalog, please visit wetwaremedia.com. That's WETWAREMEDIA.com. Publisher's Note. 20 years ago, I was browsing through a cozy, crowded bookstore when I brushed past the corner of a display table and a book went tumbling towards the floor, landing sharply on the top of my flip-flop-clad foot. Ouch! I bent down to pick it up and found The Sacred Hub. I started reading it then and there. I bought it, went home, and finished it in the early hours of the morning. It was a treasure of a book, alive with sparkling humor and crackling energy. I found it intuitive and welcoming, and overflowing with insight and brilliance. The author clearly understood something rare and profound: the sacred nature of our true selves. The Sacred Hub quite literally fell into my life and immediately began to change it. I got in touch with the author, Rabbin, and we became lifelong friends, as well as professional collaborators. When I told Robert how the Sacred Hub had serendipitously found me by jumping off the table onto my foot, he expressed surprise. The book had been out of print for several years. It's an honor and a great pleasure for me to bring this book of timeless wisdom back to bookstore and digital shelves to be discovered by new listeners. The Sacred Hub is essential listening for all of us who love to be changed and inspired by what we hear. I'm so happy to have helped this book to find its serendipitous way to you, listening to this now, so that it can begin to work its magic in your life. Author's Note. These writings were spontaneous compositions, written without deliberation. They were written in the crucible of silence and only after the heat and current of that silence appeared. Many times I would feel a gentle hand squeeze my heart. My eyes would fill with tears, and suddenly my fingers would move across the keyboard. Whenever I attempted to edit the ideas during or after this way of writing, the process stopped and I could not continue. That didn't stop me from trying to edit. I often wanted the material to be something other than what it was. I wanted what was written to be graspable. I wanted definitive explanations and certain solutions. I wanted a more singular and consistent style. But there was always a voice that said, "Do not write to please the mind. Let what is beyond the mind speak to disrupt the mind." Some things are known only through being. As I wrote at my pine desk, I felt surrounded by a presence which I call love. Looking out the window, I would marvel at how beautiful the eucalyptus trees were, or how stunning the hummingbirds that hovered at the feeder were. Sometimes I would take a break and wander through the house or walk out to the garden where I would sit silently. Sitting in this silence, I noticed that everything was translucent. A soft light emanated from everywhere, the trees towering above me, the distant hills and the bay beyond, the passing clouds, the clumps of dirt, all seemed alive and breathing and radiant. Something I have no words for was at work where the eyes could not see, tending to everything. What is this? It is love. And this love sanctifies everything. Though it cannot truly be spoken, it is real. These writings are simply expressions from the place of silence that meditation and inquiry take me to. If there is value here, it is because you may be provoked to venture beneath the layers of the mind's false imaginings into the sacred hub within your own heart. There, you will find your own truth, your own expression, your own experience of the self. Should this happen, then we are all served. Preface. In 1969, I lived in a wood shack near the village of Trinidad, about 30 miles north of Arcata, California. I was supposed to be studying Eastern philosophy at Humboldt State College, but spent hardly any time in class.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?